back to another Game Developer Newsdesk 2025 GDC. Those words were all out of order, but you know where you are. We're at the Game Developer Newsdesk. We're talking to a bunch of people who are around GDC here, doing interesting things, working on cool products, solving problems for developers. And there's a pretty big problem for developers that you guys focus on, but let me introduce who we're speaking to first. I'm joined by Lisa Spencer, the VP of Marketing and Communications at Denuvo by Irdeto.
Yes.
Which I get those two backwards sometimes. I don't know if that's an internal problem as well, but Denuvo by Irdeto, it's just me. But do you want to talk about a little bit about what Denuvo is, what Irdeto, what you guys are doing? Just introduce game developers that might not have heard of you to the company.
Sure, absolutely. So Irdeto is a leader in cybersecurity globally. We've been around for just over half a century, and we work across multiple different industries, video entertainment, connected transportation, and of course video games as well. And Denuvo is our brand under the corporate umbrella. And at Denuvo, we really focus on bringing fairness back to gaming and making sure that it's fun and enjoyable for everyone. So we have solutions around anti-leak, which is during the development phase. We have solutions for game release, anti-piracy, and then of course making sure that it's a safe and fun environment with our anti-cheat technology as well.
Yeah, security is one of those things where you don't want to think about it when you need it. Like when it comes up, it's not when you want to be planning for it too.
Exactly.
So it's good to have like people there. So like are people at your back who kind of like know this and can arm you with information and different approaches for things too.
Absolutely.
So looking at the landscape right now, what are some of the most pressing cybersecurity threats facing game developers today?
Yeah, you know, the cybersecurity landscape is quite complex. There are so many threat vectors, unfortunately. Things like, you know, leaking, data breaches, account theft, cheating, and of course piracy in general. And these are just a few of some of those threat vectors. And they're really damaging and problematic. When you're talking about leaking, you know, it's really devastating to have an early build leaked before the actual release of the game. And also when we're talking about data breaches, it's things like having employee data leaked, gamer subscriber data leaked, which can have a really negative impact, obviously, on the financials and the brand reputation of the company. Cheating sucks. Nobody likes cheating. So all of these things are pretty negative and devastating for the gaming industry in general. Now, what we're seeing, unfortunately, come out is with the advent of AI, all of the bad actors are becoming faster, stronger, and better at what they do. Bots now are starting to mimic human behavior. It's really hard to track down then what's a bot and what's a legitimate player. But the flip side of that is that AI is also a really great ally for companies such as Denuvo, where we are combating these hackers on a day-to-day basis, bringing fairness back to gaming, making sure that it's a safe and fun environment. And again, I think the takeaway really is that when you bake in security at the ground level and it's not an afterthought, that's when you can really have the best cybersecurity posture and protect yourself as much as possible in the landscape today.
Yeah, no, it's a technical solution to when you lose trust from people and like it's all player experience. It's harder to rebuild that than it is to just prevent it from happening in the first place.
Absolutely,
so
absolutely.
I feel like bots are my specific, as someone who has played online games before and does not play them very frequently, maybe because I'm a bot target or something, I don't know, I attract them. But you did mention a bot, so let's talk about bot detection in video games. And can you talk about how some of those trends that you're mentioning with AI are facing the future, are shaping the future of game security?
Yeah, absolutely. And again, AI is great, right? It's great for the bad guys, it's great for the good guys, but we're really seeing that AI can help augment bot detection. Like I had said, what we're seeing now is the advancements of bots of really starting to mimic human behavior. So sometimes it's really tough to see what's a bot and what's a human. And what is really important for game developers is to have that transparent, solid, safe chain of evidence to show that this is a cheater or a bot, so let's ban them, versus somebody who's just having a really good day. And so, companies like Denuvo, we use that AI to make sure that, the evidence that we give is really on point, it's trustworthy, it's reliable, so that we can make sure that we arm our customers, the game developers, with the information that they need to make reliable decisions on banning people or not banning people to create that safe and fun environment for legitimate players.
Yeah, I feel like I've talked to you guys a few times over the past few years too, and that's always been something that kind of comes up is the back and forth of like when cheating software gets like more advanced, then you guys have to. It's like the tug of war game that you have to do for it. And as they get more involved in AI and more technology too, then so do you. So when we're looking forward into the future, there, like what kind of trends do you see coming up in cybersecurity that are going to shape this landscape even further along the lines you're talking about?
Right. So I think when we look at trends specifically, AI obviously is part of it, right? But I think there's three major trends in the next 5 years or so that we can really see. One again is the speed with which hackers are going to evolve, and when those threat vectors come out. But again, AI is also good for companies like Denuvo, so we can play that whack-a-mole game and stay one step ahead.
Yeah.
Another trend that's going to become really prevalent is different ways of authenticating who you are, because there's a lot of problems around account theft and account fraud. So having biometrics or maybe even security hardware authentication is going to be really important. And as more and more games are being played in the cloud, we're going to need a stronger security posture around cloud games as well. But again, making sure that cybersecurity is baked in from day one is really going to help everybody stay ahead of those threat vectors.
No, absolutely. And the threats, like it's even if you, as a game developer, don't know that you should be paying attention to cybersecurity, like it's something that you should be concerned about, and you should just, it's better safe than sorry, right?
Absolutely.
But there's the impact, right?
Yeah, the impact. So I guess there's impact for two specific stakeholders, right? So obviously there's the financial impact for the game developers. There was a study done independently in 2024 saying that when protection is moved during that critical monetization period, so those first weeks and months when a game is released, when they're really making the money back on all their hard-earned, all their hard work of releasing the game, that it can have an impact of up to 20% in revenue reduction, which is no joke. Like that's live or die for
your
some
word of mouth
developers.
period. That is when everyone's talking about it, recommending it. You need to make that good first impression. You get one first impression.
Yep. And then you take that money and reinvest it back in the franchise, right? So you're stealing from the future of gaming when you're doing this. The second impact, obviously, is the financial impact for game developers. The CEO of Ubisoft even has said that when there are games released that don't have protection like Denuvo, they're seeing upwards of 90% piracy. And again, that's no fun. So that's kind of the financial impact for the game developers themselves. But for gamers also, there's the malware that's injected in these cheats that they're downloading, in the cracked games that they're downloading. So that malware then has access to computer, your financials, everything. So not only are you shooting yourself in the foot by playing a stolen game, not paying the developer for their hard work, you're also putting yourself at risk for identity theft and other really nasty cybersecurity boo-boos.
Yeah, and this is always evolving thing, and I think we talked about AI a little bit here, and I feel like AI is going to come up again a couple more times in the conversation maybe. But what specific aspects of the piracy and like cheating evolution are proving the most difficult for you guys to counter? Like what are you facing right now, and like I don't want to give away all your secrets on here. I don't want to like let any maybe hat makers out there get ahead of you, but what can you share on that front?
Yeah, it's specifically around piracy and cheating. It's the speed with which this is happening is really, really crazy. It's like, like we were saying, it's a whack-a-mole game, right? They're being quicker, we're being quicker. But in terms of piracy, what we're finding really disheartening is the speed with which these cracked games are online. It's like hours after they're released. If there's no protection around the game, these games are online. And not only that, the hackers are becoming more sophisticated. They're becoming business people. Like this is a legitimate enterprise. They're not just sharing torrents around anymore. These are subscription-based storefront sites where people can just buy these like stolen games. Let's call it what it is.
Benefiting from the hard work of developers for their own financial gain, which is not fair to the people who worked hard on the games.
Exactly. And then cheating, of course, the advent of AI makes all the cheats stronger, faster, better. Bots are becoming smarter. But again, we're using that to our advantage as well. We have a team of so many professionals that are looking on the open web, the dark web, trying to understand what the next cheats are that are coming out, listening to the chatter, and so then we're able to use our technology augmented by AI to combat all of these threat vectors that are coming out.
No, it's exciting stuff in the future coming up for you guys. I want to make sure we hit everything important. You guys have so much going on too, and I feel like we could write it down, we could talk about it forever. But is there anything else you guys have coming up that you want to let the game development world know about? And if not, where can they find your next big announcement or find out more about Irdeto?
Yeah, I mean, I think our website is always the best source of information, irdeto.com. From there, you can just navigate to our Denuvo site, has all the information there. I think what we're really seeing is the adoption of cheat technologies because people are really starting to understand how devastating that is. And also watermarking from a pre-production or a pre-release. You want to protect that IP, and when you're shipping around for QA or for screeners, things like that, you don't want it leaked. So we're seeing a lot more interest around that, but stay tuned.
Yeah, I was going to sneak in one last question of like, what's the one quick takeaway you want if a game developer should know something about Irdeto and Denuvo and just even like cybersecurity as a whole, but I think you kind of answered that just there a little bit too. Is there another kind of one takeaway you want someone to keep in mind about this?
Absolutely. I mean, cybersecurity is seen as something scary. People don't know how to deal with it. You don't have to. You guys are artists. You're creatives. Make the game that you love. We're the security experts. Together, we'll work hand in hand to make sure that gaming is safe and fun for everyone for years to come.
Perfect. Thank you so much, and I appreciate you joining me, and I appreciate everyone tuning in. Thanks for joining us, and have a good rest of your show.
Great. Thank you.